Okay, so we're all doomed, right?
AI.
Jobs.
AI.
Tech jobs.
So all of a sudden AI is everywhere.
Replace 300 million jobs.
Then I see this.
I make nearly $1 million a year.
Zuckerberg's war on talent is even more aggressive.
So wait, are we all about to be replaced by robots, or are we about to get rich? I keep seeing these conflicting headlines, and honestly, I got tired of the fear-mongering. So I decided to find out for myself what careers will actually survive the AI revolution. And I'm not just sharing my opinion. I asked ChatGPT to generate a full Gartner-style report on the future of work. I wanted to find out which jobs are actually disappearing versus exploding, what makes a job AI-proof, and what can you do right now as an individual to stay ahead. Some of the results were exactly what you would expect, and some were pretty surprising. Let me show you what I found out. I break it all down in the full report linked below, but here's the important part that you need to know. We live in an interconnected world, so we need to understand the forces actually reshaping the work to be able to make informed decisions about ourselves. So we're starting with the big picture and diving into the specifics. And this is not just about AI. There are 4 massive trends colliding all at once. First, AI isn't just doing boring tasks anymore. It's planning entire product launches, writing, deploying code, even making decisions with limited supervision. Second, companies are under insane pressure. Companies are dealing with inflation, tighter budgets, global instability, and pressure from investors.
Amazon CEO Andy Jassy wrote in a memo to employees that they should figure out how to get more done with scrappier teams.
So they're turning to AI for answers. Third trend is that the world's workforce is completely lopsided. In countries like Korea and Germany, people are aging out because of increased lifespan, whereas in countries like India and Nigeria, there's a youth explosion. So some places are using AI to replace missing workers, and others need to upskill millions just to keep up with the trends. The fourth trend is that regulation is splitting the world. Some countries are going full speed ahead with AI, whereas others are stuck in red tape. So when people ask, will AI take my job? They're asking the wrong question. The right question is, how do all these forces change what work will look like in the future? So let's talk about how jobs are really changing. Because the important part is that your job title doesn't matter as much as the tasks you're actually performing, and whether AI can do them faster, cheaper, or better. One helpful way to think about this is by mapping tasks on 2 axes. How much of your work AI can do, which is AI exposure, and how much human judgment does your job require, which is value complexity. And looking at this, we'll give you 4 buckets. Bucket 1, low value, high exposure. These are the repetitive rule-based work like data entry or responding to your inbox. Outlook for these type of jobs is declining. Next bucket is the low value, low exposure jobs. These are the hands-on or context-specific work. Think like janitorial or field repair work. The outlook for this bucket of job is that they will be gradually changing. We'll talk more specifically about this in the next section. Next is the high value, high exposure jobs, the complex but automatable like coding or forecasting. These jobs are merging with AI fast. And the last bucket is the high value, low exposure jobs, the creative, strategic, and interpersonal roles that use AI but aren't easily replaced by AI. So the outlook here is that they are resilient and growing. So this is how companies are deciding who stays, who gets reskilled, and who gets automated. So the next natural question worth asking yourself is, what tasks do you actually do every day? Because like I said earlier, it's not your job title that's at risk. We're talking about the building blocks that are underneath. Which of these blocks can be automated?
Goldman Sachs looked at the global impact and found AI could replace 300 million full-time jobs.
And we can't ignore the uncomfortable truth. Some jobs are disappearing, and there is a clear pattern.
A white-collar bloodbath.
Businesses are now replacing entry-level jobs with artificial intelligence.
The college class of 2025 is entering one of the most challenging job markets in years.
Entry-level white-collar job is getting hit the hardest. We're talking administrative assistants, customer support reps, junior analysts, middle managers who mostly track performances and processes. And here's why this is happening so fast. First is that AI loves rules. These jobs are repetitive, structured, and language-based. Exactly what large language models are good at, like scheduling meetings, summarizing reports, and even answering FAQ questions. AI is already doing those jobs, not someday in the future. Second reason is that these jobs aren't strategic. They don't require deep judgment, emotional intelligence, or high-stake decision-making. So when it's time to cut costs, these are the first to go. Third reason is that they are everywhere. Administrative assistants, data entry clerks, junior coordinators, these roles cut across every industry. So when automation hits, the impact spreads fast. And this also kind of makes it worth it for people to develop automations because there is more benefit when it can impact more jobs. Like these tech companies won't be working on automation tools if they can't make money from it, right? And McKinsey estimates that up to 800 million people may need to switch jobs by 2030. And that's just a small pivot, right? 375 million of them might need to jump into entirely different job categories. And if you're in one of these roles, it's probably pretty scary. But what's really interesting is that while these jobs are disappearing, entirely new categories are being created. Let me show you which jobs aren't just surviving, but being created because of AI. The highest paying jobs right now exist because of AI and not spite of it. AI or machine learning engineers, building and fine-tuning models make an average salary of $101,000 to $180,000. AI product managers are figuring out where AI fits into real workflows, and they're making $150,000 to $234,000 a year. Another great role is platform engineers, maintaining the infrastructure where all these AI technology runs, and they make about an average of $156,000 a year. But here's the catch. These roles are kind of hard to break into. They often require more than just technical skills. You need strategy, communication, and real-world experience to get into these jobs. But tech isn't the only path that you can break into. There's also a rise in other hybrid type roles. There are AI transformation leads like human AI collaboration lead or AI enablement lead. I found these real job postings on Indeed.com. And there are also many sustainability related roles like technology and AI director, and more environmental, social, and governance related roles like strategies who use AI for compliance tracking. And then there are roles AI still can't touch, the deeply human ones like AI ethics roles or field-based crisis responders or anything field-related AI can't quite replace yet. Another interesting job is community mediators. In a world of synthetic content, real presence of a human may become a strategic advantage in the future. Okay, next, let's talk about jobs that don't happen behind a desk and how they're being transformed. Think electricians, plumbers, and solar panel techs. These roles have three big things going for them. One, you can't automate a wrench, not yet. These jobs involve physical problem solving, unpredictability, and hands-on work in real world. AI might be able to help diagnose an issue, but it can't really crawl under a house and fix a pipe unless we have cheaper robots that can replace humans everywhere, but this probably won't happen by 2030. Second factor is that the workforce is aging. In the US, existing pool of electricians are nearing retirement age, and that's creating shortages. This means that wages might be going up. Third factor is the rise in green tech. As we move towards clean energy, we need installers, technicians, and auditors who understand both hardware and software. Because the problem is not just fix the panel. Maybe it's troubleshoot the system using your tablet, and then you interpret the forecast from the AI. These jobs are safe, at least for now. So for example, any homes that are between 10 to 20 years old might be needing replacement of things like heaters or air conditioning. I heard that the new recommendation is greener systems. So a lot of homes will be required to do these upgrades, and the demand for more hands-on workers might be rising. So these jobs are safe, at least for now. So now we understand what are the rising jobs and declining jobs, but what skills do you actually need to help you stay competitive? Some of the things that used to set you apart might now just be a baseline. So hands-on work like Excel, graphic design, and coding can be easily automated. So then what is valuable? In the full report, I outlined 10 skills, so you can check it out later if you want to, but here are the first 5 skills that are rising to the top. And these skills are applicable to a wide variety of industries. Number 1 is analytical thinking. This is the ability to break down messy problems and see patterns AI can't see. Number 2 is AI fluency, knowing how to prompt, verify, and direct AI effectively. Next is adaptability and resilience, because models change, tools update, and ambiguity is the new normal. System thinking is also important, the ability to zoom out and see connections and anticipate second-order effects. That's sort of why we started today's video with the big picture factors and then drove into the specifics. And finally, communication. Communication is about clear writing, but also being persuasive when you're talking to other humans, being able to speak and create human connection. And especially when your coworkers might include AI agents, clear communication can also help you with clear prompting so that you can communicate better with AI and human alike. But the part that kind of trips people up is that it's not enough to just say I took a prompt engineering course, but employers want to see how did you actually use AI? Like, how did you actually solve real world problems? The most powerful thing that you can put on a resume right now isn't a title or a degree, it's experience. That's what companies are looking for. And experience can be shown through a lot of different things, including numbers and impact or storytelling. A story that shows that you know how to think, adapt, and work with human and AI. So this could be a product that you helped build, a tool that you optimized, or a workflow that you redesigned. If you want to learn more about how to do these type of storytelling through your resume, check out the Ultimate Resume Handbook. I wrote this to help people reframe their experiences in the language that actually gets interviews, especially if your career path isn't linear, or if you've done a little bit of everything, or if you're new to the industry and you're not really sure how to frame your experience in a way that is interesting to other people in tech. This book has already helped many people land jobs in tech and AI. So if you need help positioning yourself in this new world of work, check out the link in the description. In a world where AI is changing every tool, every role, every industry, the people who thrive are the ones that stay curious and adapt fast and show their work. So here's my challenge for you. Look at your current role through this lens. Which bucket are you in? Remember the 4 quadrants that we talked about earlier? What tasks do you do that AI can't replace? What story can you tell about how you've already started adapting? If you want to take a deeper dive into one of the hottest jobs in the age of AI, check out this video and I'll see you there.